Legal disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Do your own fucking research. This is simply news and opinions.
Control the ball!
Welcome to Crypto Revolution Talk.
Not me! Or you!
With your host, El Crypto Cubano.
Not you! Then who?
Welcome back to another episode of Crypto Revolution Talk. This is your host, El Crypto Cubano. So, hope you guys tuned in last week when we had El Crypto Chapo. Unfortunately, we had a technical difficulty, or we could call it a technical difficulty, or you could say that I suck, but I'd say it's more of a technical difficulty. There was an issue with about halfway point, right into the second segment. There was an issue where the sound went really bad. It sounded like aliens. It sounded like, we bought a bunch of Ripple or we were pissed. I don't know. It's just everything was all screwed up. And I had to cut the episode in half. So we're actually going to do a second episode with El Crypto Chapo in the future. And we'll do that second segment. We'll have the second line of questions for him. But other than that, today I got another guest to introduce. This guy is a political scientist for trade, but he is also a crypto investor. And he is a big fundamental analysis guy. He's an analyst for the DOJO, for KJ's Crypto Dojo, and his name is Shilman Crypto. Welcome to the show, Shilman.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, it's a pleasure having you on. Now, I just wanted to ask,
Pleasure.
what is your background? How did you get into crypto? What was what got you in?
Well, basically it was like, I remember like Bitcoin popped up on my radar twice before I entered. And every time I was a bit lazy about it because I just saw it like as a money-making opportunity. And I thought, okay, this ship has sailed. Well, that was the first time. Then the second time, like a year later, it happened again. Basically, every time that Bitcoin made big moves, it went a bit on the mainstream media. I recognized it, but I didn't take the time to read up on it. And I fooled me twice, but there's something up here, and that was in March, April 2017. So I'm not an OG by any means. Well, that was when like Bitcoin had another rally, and the altcoins ran too. There was like Ethereum popped up on the radar on the mainstream media too. So that was when I read into it, and I really started feeling FOMO when I started learning about the technology behind it and what it actually is. Especially Ethereum, that was something that really clicked with me because the smart contract capabilities were just something where I immediately saw so many possible ways to apply this in the real world, and as well like in some of the sectors that I used to think about or do research on in the political science space. So that was something that was really important for me.
Absolutely. That's I feel the same way about Ethereum. I think it's going to have such a huge work case for the real world. Any corporation can use it. Any business can use it. Even governments can use it. I agree with you on that 100%. It's
yeah, and maybe if that's not Ethereum in the future, still I think most coins will have this feature that will be put to work.
Absolutely. So when you started trading, I know me personally, I've made tons of mistakes. I still make mistakes to this day. But I mean, for the most part, I've become a more sound trader, especially learning from my mentor and learning from others. I've learned a bunch of lessons, but I've had big breaks too. So, what lessons have you learned since your year in this space? And what mistakes have you made, and have you had any big breaks? Yeah, I'm sure you've had some big breaks. I know that we've talked
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
and you've made some decent trades and made some good money. But yeah, so
I did, but starting out, I didn't. Luckily, I didn't buy the top when I bought in, so I had some gains. But quickly, I started to get all altcoin crazy, like almost everybody does. And I didn't respect Bitcoin. I I think my first investment was like around 10,000 euros. And so I had a decent amount of Bitcoin, and I managed to lose more than half of that in BTC value over the Bitcoin rally starting when I bought in up until, end of autumn, I think. And I did so many things wrong. I bought the low set coins. Those are hot again at the moment. Like I bought Digibyte, I bought CR coin, and it's like you just get those insane numbers of coins in your wallet, and you're a noob, so you think, oh wow, what if one CR coin is worth $1? Like I'm rich. So that's like a typical trap when you start out. You don't know nothing about market caps and supply and all that. And I'd say the second mistake that I made, but looking back, it was all okay. It was just a part of the whole journey, I think, is that I got into a paid group, and I went there mostly for the signals. It was okay for learning too, but like I went there for the signals, and I pretty much blindly followed that, and that pretty much wrecked me over like the course of autumn. But luckily there I met KJ and some other guys that are in the dojo at the moment, and as all of us, we were unhappy with what was being offered in this other group we met. KJ then went on and said, okay, I'll just open up a private Discord and I'll just invite you guys in, and that was where the dojo was born. Basically, we had this server for quite a while, and we traded together, we learned together, did some research, and that was pretty much when it all turned around. When I started to become a sovereign trader of my own decisions and of my own research, that was really good.
I've been in the dojo now for some time, not a long time, not as long as you. Obviously, you're there since the beginning. I guess you can call yourself an OG in the dojo, or a black belt.
Yeah.
You could call yourself a black belt. But
Yeah.
I've noticed too, since I got in the dojo, my portfolio went up. It's gone up tremendously, like a boner, like a big boner. It just shot up huge, and it's great. I mean, I never was in a private group before the dojo. I've KJ, Korean Jew is pretty much like my mentor. He is, I've known him for a while. He's a top guy, great trader. But yeah, that's, I've made some similar mistakes. Like I bought Ripple. I remember buying Ripple. I made money on it, but it's same thing. I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cheap. But I didn't know anything about market cap and total supply.
What if it's the next Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly. And even my dad. This is 2 weeks in a row I'm bringing up my dad. Even he bought Ripple, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell it at $1,000 a coin." and you
were like, "Yeah, that should work."
Yeah, I told him I don't think. I said maybe you should think about selling it at $10 a coin. And but then KJ sat down with me one day, or we were online, and he was like, "Yeah, this is why I don't like Ripple," and he explained it to me, and it made sense. So, my dad and I both sold at a reasonable price. We both made money. I swung traded more than he did. He held and sold. But yeah, it's so. But yeah, that's
But shortly before that started, I had the first major breakthrough with buying Walton Chain really early.
Yes.
Like Walton Chain at 60 cents, and that was how I met KJ. We were in the same group, and he was telling people that there's something going on with Chinese coins, and we had an out bear market, but something was happening there, and he found this project called Walton Chain, and nobody listened. but I was one of the few people, like only a handful of people that reacted to him. And so we got to talk in DM, and I read the white paper, and I looked past the bad English in this Chinese company's white paper, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, and it's below ICO price and all that. So I got in, and that like really brought my portfolio back on track. So that was even before the dojo started, and that's why we kept talking in DMs, like, how's our Walton doing? Are we selling, or what's the next hot thing? And that was why he invited me over originally. So Walton was like the first big breakthrough, but also like one of the coins that I messed up most on later. So I think a lot of traders know, have the same experience, that their first big winner is the coin that they tend to get too attached to. And for me, that was Walton Chain totally. Like, I held that, and I didn't sell it after it went like, what was that, 16x in a bear market. I held on, and later I even, like, before they were supposed to launch their mainnet, and I even bought more, and then they postponed the mainnet to 2018, and it dropped like a rock, and I was just back holding at that point. Like, I did a lot of stuff wrong there, and I learned a valuable lesson to not first thing, to not over allocate in one coin. I mean, if you want to, you can do it with Bitcoin, but not some altcoin, because it will drive you crazy and lead to very, very bad decisions. And the second thing is, like, don't be married to a coin at all.
Yeah, that's, I feel like I'm married to Wan Chain now. I have some as well. I bought it. I didn't get in where you did. You got in, obviously, the most ideal place.
I got it at ICO. Yeah,
I got in.
That was back in the other paid group. Foz was there too, and another guy named Cryer, and I think Mario was there too. Like, Mario is another guy from the dojo. And they were shilling the Wan Chain ICO, so that was the reason why I looked into it back in the day.
I know it sold out quick. Wasn't it in, like, within 30 seconds it sold out, or within a minute? It was, like, very quick that it sold out, something like that.
The good thing with Wan Chain was that they had these allocation tiers. So you enlisted for the whitelist, and then you had a whole day to buy your guaranteed allocation. And then after that round, the next round was like, I don't know, a few minutes, and that was where the rest was sold, and a few whales scooped it up, I think. But if you whitelisted and got this gold allocation, then you had your small, I think it was 6 ether or 7 ether. You could get that, which obviously now isn't a bad position to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Wan is definitely the reason why I say I'm married to it. Is it's by far my favorite project. I just think it's I read through the white paper. I try to read through as many white papers as possible. I recently graduated college, so I've been just super busy. But regardless, I've read through some white papers. I haven't read through a lot, but that's one of the ones that I just couldn't stop reading. The project sounds so good. It's laying down infrastructure that's going to be essential to the block to the space. So that's what I really liked about it. How it's it's really putting down that financial infrastructure that's going to set up for the future of blockchain. And one of the favorite things I liked was, if you have a lot of them, you can open a lending teller where you can lend Wan or whatever other cryptocurrency that's on the Wan Chain, which I really liked. But
I'm not sure whether that is like peer-to-peer, user-to-user, or if that isn't supposed to be a service that has to be a digital application on Wan Chain, the lending aspect. I'm not sure. I've read the white paper too, obviously, because I've written a long ass article on it, and it doesn't sound right. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong too. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not the. I read through the white paper, but I had a lot of stuff going on, but that was the part that I could have swore in my notes that I wrote down about a lender.
Oh, it's interesting. I will have a look too. Nice. Okay. But it's like one of the more complicated white papers to read through. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because
I couldn't stop reading it, but it was very difficult. I think a lot of white papers are very difficult to read, but this one was
yeah, but
very.
this one like was so you could really see who wrote it, like real cryptographers and applied mathematics geeks.
Yeah.
So in my article, I really felt like I had to do some translation work. So I talked to Chris, who's a tech expert in the dojo, and to some other guys to really understand it before trying to explain it to, I, I wouldn't say lay people, but people who didn't bother reading the white paper that deeply. It was kind of a challenge. But I love One Chain too. It's one of my biggest positions.
Yeah, it's definitely on my in my portfolio. It's definitely one of my bigger positions as well. So, so what is your sense of the market right now? Are you? I'm what they call a perma-bull. I'm always bullish, even when it's even on red days. I'm still bullish.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'd say I'm a permeable too. Otherwise, I probably would have like already downsized my position. With how the past year has went, although I got money in my bank account and all that, but that's more real life stuff. I'd say now I'm pretty much all in crypto because the portfolio just has grown so much. And I'm very very bullish. But that's what like fundamental analysis gives you, even in times of turmoil. You you can look farther ahead and really hold fast. So
Absolutely.
but still you gotta respect what the market is doing right now, obviously. So it's not like we want to sit there and just be stupid about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I think it's just going to be getting better and better. I think right now, you see a lot of people that bought in at 20,000 and they're wrecked. I mean, and I got in. I didn't get in as early as you, but I got in at a decent price, 3,500. So I've only been in since August. I should have listened to KJ when he first told me about it. But
yeah, I actually doubled down during the China FUD too, because as I said, I lost so much Bitcoin value, and it really felt like I've got something here on my hands with this new group and the things we're digging up. Like we were looking at VChain at the time, and I really felt I needed more firepower, so I bought I let it down to the bottom at that time.
So what other coins? We talked about Yuan, which is I have huge expectations for it. That's probably why that's like my definitely future ex-wife. Hopefully, sell it at a good price and make a ton of money. But
Nice.
So what other coins would you say you're very bullish on, or that you think are coins that should be looked at and people should pay attention to?
Yeah. Maybe first I'll talk about One Chain and say why I'm bullish on it.
Okay.
And that's most like I try to cover a lot of possible sectors in the future crypto space with my investments. And One Chain I see as one of the projects that has the best shot of really capitalizing on the fact that you will have other asset classes migrate to distribute ledger technology, like it's the buzzword for us is the tokenization of the real world, or the tokenization of assets. And I really think that One Chain have built an infrastructure where it will be perfect for other institutions to trade precious metals, papers, or titles on precious metals, to trade even patents or real estate titles. You could do so much on it, and it just perfectly mimics the infrastructure that you usually have with today's banks, but it's on the blockchain, and it's a way to transfer assets around pretty seamlessly. Like at the time when they have Ethereum and Bitcoin integrated, you will have all the ERC20 tokens a little bit later down the line. Then you will have like this perfect flow of information and value across several blockchains. I find that like it really gets me excited. Another project that I already mentioned is VeChain. I'm still very, very bullish on it. I didn't hold all the VeChain that I bought back in October, but I'm still holding a pretty decent position. And I mean, you know with them. I mean, they are arguably the token with the best marketing and at business to business connections out there, with DVNGL and with Private Waterhouse-Coopers, with Kühne & Nagel from Germany. Mm-hmm. They've got these huge partners that will act as a multiplier for them to get business clients. So I'm very, very bullish on them. And they are not only a supply chain solution, which at first it looked like they would be, but they're actually building a proper blockchain 3.0 platform. So they might even be an Ethereum killer or an EOS killer or whatever. So it's always good to have something like that in your portfolio. Absolutely.
I had VeChain. I guess you could say I might have sold it a little early, but I mean I 15x'd.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually it's floating around the price I sold at. I didn't sell it all at the same price, but I did well on VeChain. I bought in it was like late November. So it was still close to the same price that probably you got it at in October. You definitely got it cheaper, but that was like
for me it was like in dollar it was like 26 cents or 25 cents, I think.
Yeah, I got in
some later too.
That's tremendous. I got in somewhere around 50, 60 cents, like in between there. And the Satoshi values were at 15x. Oh, that was one of my that was like my second big break. Lux, I had Lux. That one I did pretty good.
Oh yeah, sweet Lux.
Yeah,
the DOJO was super early on that one.
Oh yeah, that
crazy ride.
That was. I remember freaking out. I remember when it dropped down to 10K Sats, and that was like my only holding. It was that and a little bit of Bitcoin, like barely any, not even a full Bitcoin. And my portfolio is not big, so. But it was, it's regardless. It was at the time it wasn't big, and that when that went up, oh, that was great. That was, and I remember talking to KJ, and he was like, "It's gonna bounce back. Just be patient," because I was ready to just, panic sell, those emotions, but I didn't do it. He talked some sense into me, which it's great.
Very good. That's his job.
Yeah, absolutely. So now.
Yeah, Lux obviously Lux is a coin I'm still bullish on. I mean, it was a great play when it was like the super low cap, but now I think the team. I mean, they've got issues, but I think that the team has really come around and is building something pretty amazing. Like we've already talked about OneChain, and as far as I understand it, I'm really looking forward to the technical white paper that they will publish. But as far as I understand it, they will have similar capabilities when it comes to cross-chain transactions. Mm-hmm. So we might have like what's that? It's a 14 million market cap, 14 million at the moment. Proof of work, proof of stake hybrid coin that was actually mined and is supported by mining consensus. That will be like a contender in the same space as OneChain is. Obviously, the team is smaller and they don't have the same connections, so I wouldn't predict it at OneChain's market cap or anything like that. But I still think it has a lot of room to grow. It has the privacy, the anonymity features, and they will have their own decentralized exchange from the wallet, which is pretty amazing if you think about it, because when it comes to trading and being anonymous, it's really a problem that you always got to move your coins and your other tokens to exchanges that might be trackable. So if you can do all that from your wallet, from a privacy coin wallet, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I think Lux is going to do great in the future. I kind of wish I didn't sell as early as I did, but I was just trying to make moves. I made some money on it, and then went into other stuff. That was when I sold my Lux. I actually ended up putting more into VeChain, so it did work out in my favor.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I think Jake made a similar move where he sold some Lux and up this VeChain position. And I mean, obviously, if you sell something too early, it hurts. It stings a bit, but in the end, you made your profits. You put it to use elsewhere. I mean, that's just what a good trader does.
Yeah, and I'm definitely getting better with that. I mean, my most recent, the last of my VeChain that I sold, I actually put into WanChain, which WanChain actually went up. That was a good trade for me. I went into
Very good.
Yeah. I've started to make some good trades, which is
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting some compounding interest there.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
So now
So is there another
what's that?
another coin that I'd like to talk about?
Absolutely.
Let me have a look at my portfolio cheat sheet.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, smaller project that we did the ICO on in the dojo is Origin Trade Track, and I think they have a very bright future ahead too. Are you familiar with that?
I know of it. I actually looked into it. I don't have enough knowledge on it to really form like a good opinion, but I do know of Origin Trail. I know it's been talked about in the dojo. I know you've talked about it as well. I've seen in the Discord you've talked about it. I've heard Jake talk about it, but what do you got about it? What do you have to say about it?
What I like about it, it's a supply chain project too, like WeChain. What I like about it is that it's a blockchain agnostic protocol that is able to connect different blockchains and to even connect different other supply blockchains, other projects like VeChain, Walton Chain, Ambrosis, whatever. I think they reached out to Sophia TX and offered them a partnership and an integration, and they said like the Origin Trade guys said we would be like a perfect match. And that's one aspect that I like about it. They've got pretty stellar marketing. They're from Eastern Europe and have already had their appearances at the European Parliament. And the other thing is that they're really taking onboarding traditional businesses serious. They are compatible with several standards that are used in the industry at the moment. So these businesses that are used to using their own databases for decades now, they don't have to like totally relearn everything, and I think that's a very, very valuable asset to a blockchain project at the moment, and not many projects take that seriously.
I mean, absolutely. That sounds extremely valuable for any project. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now in CoinMarketCap. It's got an $80 million market cap.
Yeah, it had a rise like over the last 1.5 weeks.
Yeah, it definitely has. Still, I mean, from what you're saying, it still sounds like a very promising project. It's only trading at about 3,600 Satoshi. It's got a pretty decent circulating supply. It's
similar to VeChain in that regard,
yeah.
Right? The supply.
Yeah, let's see. So right now the total supply is 500 million. Total circulating supply is 268 million. With VeChain,
so it's less than VeChain.
Yeah, it is less than VeChain, and that's if it were to go up in market cap, I mean, and you'd see a huge price spike,
Yeah, true.
So
it's at what's that, 30 cents right now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I think I'm like when we're talking in the dojo, I usually say that for Urgent Trade, I can see like a 250 million market cap easy, and it might have more in it, depending on what the market does and how successful they are in acquiring more partnerships.
Absolutely. So let's. I'm gonna move on to another topic. Are there any ICOs that you like? If you were to pick one ICO right now that you'd put maybe a sizable investment into, are there any you'd go for?
Well, I went to true ICO winter hardcore. So I'm pretty sure that this is the time where you will find the ICOs that will really do well over the next bull season. So I was very interested in Morpheus.
Morpheus? Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't do it. Somehow I kind of missed like I had the opportunity to go in a pool, and I kind of missed it. So that is something. Again, it's a supply chain project. I mean, the market for supply chain projects gets saturated quickly. But on the other hand, it's one of the few really valid use cases for blockchain at the moment. I think, except for Bitcoin and currency. So I think there's room for a few successful projects in there. What else? Yeah, I mean, Jake just got that advisor role for Menlo One.
Yes.
And we had this Q&A with their CEO Matt in the DOJO, and he was somebody who really he impressed me very much. He's very well connected, a smart guy. Like, you can sense he's a geek, but he can also talk, and he had so much fun asking our questions, and we didn't hold back. We were pretty grilling him on a lot of issues in the white paper, and we had some questions on that, and that was something that I am really looking forward to.
Yeah, I actually put some.
Menlo ICO.
I put into Menlo ICO. I got that one too. So I got a question for you. When you started going on crypto Twitter, who was one of the personalities that you originally went to, or you originally followed? You looked at what he would post, and you.
Oh, wow. I'd say definitely Not So Fast.
Okay.
And I still enjoy it very much when he posts. He's not super active compared to some other guys, but he's just a fountain of wisdom, and I really like his attitude too. He's one of the guys that has been around so long, but is still very helpful to people, and especially if you're interested in the whole mining business, then he's one of the first guys to follow. So
Absolutely.
I'll just scroll down and have a look.
Absolutely.
Who are the first guys I followed?
Yeah, mining.
Oh, but I don't think this will work because
That's all right. I mean,
I originally started following these guys with my music project Twitter account, and then only more recently, end of 2017, I started doing my own crypto Twitter thing. So this won't work. Okay, well, but I'd say not So Fast. He's still somebody that I really enjoy reading, his thoughts.
All right. Yeah, that's.
Maybe a recent guy. Maybe I can shoot a recent discovery.
I follow him as well. I do enjoy his content as well. I do like Not So Fast. There's a lot of good guys out there, but he's definitely one of the ones that he puts out some good info. He makes me laugh, and
Yeah.
And just like what you were saying earlier, talking about the guy from Menlo One, he was kind of a geek. Well,
Yes.
I would guess that a lot of people that are in crypto might be geeks, and you know what? Geeks and nerds with computers are always the ones that get rich and are always the most successful. So
That's true.
and I was always a bit.
Also,
What's up?
yeah. Go on.
Oh
Sorry.
no, I was saying I was always a bit of a geek, but I never got into the right things, and now I feel like I'm in the right space. I was like a video game geek. Now I'm into this, and this is it's awesome. I love it. So
Yeah, I actually I've got a side gig with a friend where we have a company and we write music for video games.
Oh wow,
So I'm pretty much into that too.
that's really
That
cool.
was actually That was actually like the first thing when after I finished my studies and I had like the first jobs. I wasn't super happy. I realized now that I don't work well on in a paid employees scenario. Like I don't do well with bosses, and I really felt down. And my former colleague, she said like, why don't you do your own thing on the side? Like just go for anything that you find fascinating. And that's when I started this composing and music production company with my friend, and we had a decent success actually. So that was the first thing is that got my entrepreneurial spirit going, which isn't the first thing you learn in a political science study. Like when you get a political science degree, it's not being an entrepreneur and taking risks and all that and thinking in this mindset. So that was really what got that going, and those were like the gains that I used to buy into crypto. So it really set me up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I my gains, the money that I used, I had a college internship, and that's the money that I started using to put into crypto in August. And,
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the company that I'll probably end up working for here in the next month or so.
Nice.
We'll see when that time comes. I'll speak about it publicly, but for now, I'm just I'll tell you about it off record. But you got to keep a low profile sometimes in this space. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I'm actually like I'm doing a full-time job, the day job at the moment, and I'm planning to go full-time crypto in September.
Oh wow!
When my contract is over. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll be able to focus all your time and energy into it. I mean, you're definitely a sound trader. I mean, you're more of an investor, like we've talked about. But
yeah, we talked about that before. That I saw myself more as an investor. Like I find solid projects and I buy them and then I wait, basically.
Yeah, that's.
But that has changed recently, like with how the market is at the moment.
Absolutely. There's been this I saw a live stream today with this one new crypto. He's somewhat new. He's like 3 months old. Crypto personality. I actually met him in person at a crypto event last Friday. It was a yacht. I met Shil Nye, the Lambo guy. He's a guy.
Oh yeah, Shil Nye. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's a good, very smart, very knowledgeable. He's been in the space for a long time, but he's new to crypto Twitter. But I met him on the boat, and he was a really cool guy. But I saw a live stream today with him and Bitcoin Birch, and
Yeah.
and they
Bravado.
yeah, the Bravado guy, and they were talking about stuff like that. He mentioned Bitcoin Birch mentioned Menlo, but Shil Nye. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with this.
Oh yeah, the market and how.
Yes.
Like the last thing I said was that I'm not thinking like an investor at the moment, but that the market has changed. That was the last thing I said.
That's what it was. Thank you. Sometimes I go on these, I start talking, and I lead up to it, and then I forget. But
It's all
that's
good.
probably from pot, But yeah, that's what it was. Bitcoin Birch said something that I found very amusing, but it's so true. He said that we're not really quite in alt season, but more of a shitcoin season. A lot of
Yeah.
these shitty coins are just pumping like out of control.
We are, yeah, absolutely. And do you see in the dojo where for the listeners, we've got one of our more successful traders in the dojo is called Yaz, and today he posted some fun TA on Google search word trends. And one was Bitcoin and buying Bitcoin and all that, but the one that was really, really breaking trend line and exploding was the word shitcoins.
That's oh man, yeah. Yaz has been on an absolute roll.
Yeah.
He is a
But
say again.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No. You first, please.
Yeah, Yaz is on a roll and he's a monster first. Absolutely, I agree with you. And I would say that basically that was what we've been doing for the past weeks. We're looking for things that the market likes. We already seen that there's no new money entering at the moment. I mean, institutions are entering, they have been entering, but they are doing this in a stealthy way, and they're using over-the-counter buys and all that stuff. And at the moment, it's just like a huge dumb herd that's running around chasing pumps. And the only way you can up your Bitcoin stack is to be there first.
Yeah.
Find these attractive these tokens or coins that are attractive to this market at the moment.
Yeah, like,
Yaz is very good at that.
he is 100%. I wish I had gotten into CNN. I mean, that one.
I was in, yeah.
Did you get into CNN?
Yeah, only with a smallish amount compared to my portfolio, but it did so well that it really like gave some nice returns. And Yaz is a conservative guy himself. He values Bitcoin and he values good entries. And in his trading recommendation, he didn't like say, yeah, throw all your money at CNN, it will explode. It was just like, oh, I like this charts. The fundamentals are okay. It's not a shit coin. It's very, very like he saw these connections to Yi from OCN. So we were expecting that they might get hype, and they did.
Yeah, and OCN's another one too. I wish I had sold the top, but I still
didn't get into OCN at all, so I'm not fazed by anything.
I'm still up on it. I'm up over 2x on it, but I wish I had sold the top. I'm still holding it. I'm gonna hopefully it goes up more, but I'll probably if I have myself set at a stop loss, which I'd still be in a tremendous amount of profit, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, that one really pumped hard. But then those shit coins, you know them, they'll pump hard and then they just dump really hard. Like that one dumped when it hit like around 480, 490. It just dumped like it was like a $400 million sell off. It was insane. But
it was, yeah, absolutely insane.
But
like what a shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was. I remember I was driving and I looked at the price and I was like, okay, yeah, we're still good. And then, like, an hour later, when I wasn't driving, I looked at my Blockfolio and I was like, what the heck? What just happened? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was similar. One day I was at school and I was leaving school and I looked at the price of Encash and it was like 580 or 5. It was over 500 Satoshi. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm sitting pretty, blah, blah, blah. And then I get home and I look at it and before I even look at it, I look at Twitter and I see that FUD with the fake partnerships with Tommy Hilfiger and Nautica, and right when I saw that, I was like, oh man, this had to have dumped, and it was down like 20%, like within minutes, within an hour, it was down 20%. But that's that's the volatility that we face in this market, and everything is so it's all based on speculation. There's a lot of you know how they say buy the news, sell the hype, or buy the hype, sell the news. I don't know if I have that backwards, but the news kills sometimes,
Yeah, it happens, especially now. Like you shouldn't fight the trend. If the market behaves this way, you got to adapt. That's what KJ says all the time. I think he even has this Bruce Lee quote, "Be like water," like on the DOJO website, and it's pretty accurate for what we're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and that's that. Sorry, just one more point. That's really where being in a group. It doesn't have to be the dojo. It could be like a circle of friends, a circle of traders. Really, really helps because we all got our strengths and weaknesses. Like I do fundamental analysis pretty well. I know that I can do research and I can write, and do some critical thinking. But I'm not the best trader. And not the best technical analyst, so it's really, really, really good to surround yourself with people that have these qualities and learn from them. That's like has been so valuable. I'm sure you agree from your time like that you had spent at the dojo.
Absolutely. Being in a group where not only do you have a lot of like-minded individuals that have the same goal and that have the same view on cryptocurrency, but just being around a group of individuals that all want to learn and that all bring something to the table, I think that's 100% accurate. I mean, the stuff that you put out, your write-ups that I've read, they've all been stellar. Especially your one on cash was unreal.
Thanks.
Absolutely,
Thanks, man.
yeah, no problem. But that's huge. I mean, that's something big that you bring to the table, and like you see that also, with all the analysts and contributors. I mean, I'm not neither. I'm just a regular guy in the dojo, but you know,
I
all
mean,
the
you're here and building your own thing.
yeah. I'm in the, yeah. I'm trying to. Now that I have more time, I'm definitely gonna be building it more. But yeah, it's but still, just what I've taken out from the dojo has put me ahead of many traders, and it's put me ahead of many people in the space compared to where I was as well. But
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
so
And even even personality features. Like to me, I can talk and I'm a communicative guy, but I wouldn't say that I'm super outgoing or super confident in like the way I present myself. And like I met KJ once now, but we've been talking on Discord or in calls on the dojo a lot lately, and I'm not sure if I ever met in person a guy that is as charismatic and has as much energy as he has. And that, like, even just being around people like that, it really, you can really like take something of that and make it your own, which I find really really valuable too.
absolutely,
Like,
KJ.
when I got to talk to my boss at the moment, and we're not getting along that well, and I know I won't be there for long anymore, but like I can really channel my inner Jake, and just I don't take shit from him anymore. Like it's really it's useful.
That's so funny that you mentioned that. I've known Jake for quite some time. I think I've told you before. I've known him for a while. I grew up with him. He is. I mean, when we were younger and we'd go out and party and bullshit, like, I'd always be the wingman, and that he would just lead the way, and it was just great. And he was always someone that never took shit. He was always very charismatic, and that's why this fits him perfect, and. It's he's always been the Korean Jew. He always has. Through school, he was always the Korean Jew. But now he's really made his mark in the crypto space, because he's got such a good brand. I mean, it's
Yes.
and he's not even in the space a year yet. It's just mind-boggling the progress he's made in the
Yeah, it
space,
is.
and the
But he did the same thing. We were in this other group, and he assembled like the people that brought the most to the table, and he connected with Chris and Foss, who he formed the dojo with, because he knew these guys, they have qualities that he doesn't bring to the table, and they are people that he can learn from. So that's something that I admire in a leader too, that he sees where he can complement himself.
absolutely, and he's always looking to help people out too.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that I believe good leaders, they respect everybody below them, and that's how they gain their respect back, and they try to help everybody, and that's him. But
Okay.
one,
Enough about
yeah,
Jake.
absolutely. I was gonna ask you, I wanted to ask you one last thing before we wrapped up the show.
Yeah. Sure.
Just what your future predictions are. Only for
Yeah.
three coin. Actually, yeah, we'll cover just Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then just what coin you think has the brightest future, and then what coin you think has the grimmest future or the worst future.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so what would you say? What would your prediction be for end of year? January 1st, 2019. We'll say. What do you think the price of Bitcoin will be?
I'm not sure I'm a fan of this question. I mean, whatever I say, it's pretty random.
Yeah,
I
I
think Bitcoin will, can continue to be pretty choppy for some time still, and then when a lot of people, when enough people got really really shaken out, and it looks relatively grim, that's when it will just turn around and Bitcoin will run again. And I think it could, at that point, I think there will be some catalysts that maybe come. I don't know if they come this summer, but I think they will come at least in autumn. That will be pretty huge, and those could blow Bitcoin past all time high.
Let's just hope. I think it will do well as well, but that
I
would be
mean,
great.
maybe I'm wrong, and we would get more bards and inverse bards for another 10 months. It's possible, because the market is being like, I wouldn't say manipulated, but it's being controlled by whales,
Yes.
basically. Um, so it's really hard to tell, but I think there will be a point like where where the technical developments and advancements, like in like stuff like lightning network, atomic swaps, they don't stop, and at some point, it will be so strong that even the general public won't ignore Bitcoin anymore, because like, of course, like a lot of people know about Bitcoin at this point, but I still think it's a relatively small part of the population.
100%, I agree. I totally agree. I went to a family event. It was a cousin's first birthday party, and you know, I hadn't seen a lot of these family in maybe a year, so
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to them and ask them if, oh, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? And there was about 70 people at this event, and only 2 people had ever heard of Bitcoin.
Interesting.
They were all, I mean, granted, they were the majority of the people there were old, baby boomers. Some people in their late 40s, early 50s, but there was still a good amount of people there too that were young, that were my age, maybe your age. And the only 2 people that heard about it were my age. Of course, my parents were there, and they know a lot about it. Well, they know what I tell them pretty much, but
Yeah.
the people that said they knew were like, oh yeah, I know someone that's made a ton of money. Trading
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies, and that was it. That's all they knew. So it's
Yeah,
it's
but that guy just got lucky in the Ponzi scheme. So
yeah,
that,
right.
yeah. I over Christmas I made a similar experience where I made a present of some VeChain tokens and some Power Ledger for my cousin, and he's a 45-year-old network engineer. So who has like solar power on his roof? So I thought, okay, I will give him presents of like tokens that could mean something to him, and he just took this USB stick where I had the keys to the my Ether wallet on, and he was so not interested at all. He just started to lecture me how this all is a very, very dangerous space for investing and all that. I didn't even get to say my part. He still doesn't know what I'm doing and how successful I've been in this. So that was pretty like, and he's a network engineer. He's like a super geek, and he wasn't interested. So I
Wow.
still think we got a lot of room to grow there.
Absolutely. Mass adoption, when that does come, when a lot of people get into it, or when a lot of people start buying into the concept and the technology, it's gonna. I just think that the moon is the only place to go.
Yeah, and even like with projects like VeChain, I would even say that the best way for mass adoption would be that the general public doesn't even notice that they start using something that is built on blockchain technology, whatever that is. That's um, when we have enough business to business clients for these altcoins, that it would just permeate into the everyday life of people. That would be like the moment where we start to earn really, really big money.
Yes.
That's my prediction. That's not like a, I don't know, 40K for Bitcoin prediction, but yeah, that's something I'm more comfortable with.
Absolutely. So what about Ethereum? What would you say a prediction for end of year for Ethereum would be?
Yeah, a lot of people like fear that, or bet on the fact that Ethereum might be like attacked heavily by EOS, which is possible if we consider how much like the crazy amounts of Ether that the EOS ICO has already collected. They have been selling them off, I think, weekly or monthly, so it's not as if they just sit on all this ether and can dump it at one point in time, but they sit on enough ether to really influence the price. So some people think that when EOS is ready, they might dump all their ether and rise themselves, and maybe we have a flippening. I don't think that will happen. I still think that ether is, it's the second largest blockchain we got with a lot of hash power behind it. It will depend how the move to proof of stake will go, and how they will go about finding a solution for scaling with sharding and all that stuff, how all that works out. But Ethereum is like, they've got such a huge community of devs that I'm still very confident that they can pull it off.
Absolutely. I know there is a scalability issue, especially with the amount of tokens that are on the ERC20 blockchain.
Yes,
but
definitely.
But that's something that I think over time it's gonna be worked with, tinkered with. It'll be fixed. I don't know. I really like Ethereum too. It's actually, I mean, everybody's favorite is Bitcoin, but Ethereum is like, I love Ethereum. I just think I think the whole enterprise Ethereum alliance. I think that whole alliance with major corporations like Intel, Microsoft, IBM, or excuse me, not IBM, AMD, Samsung is part of that. I mean, there's big banks that are involved with that. I just think that's huge. I just think that shows, how what the potential is for Ethereum and how companies, and that's something they don't talk about on the news either, about what's going on with coins like Ethereum.
That's true, yeah.
With these alliances, it's
it's mostly Bitcoin falls, Bitcoin rises.
Yeah.
How to buy Ripple, how to sell Ripple.
Yeah. And it's funny, they teach people how to buy Ripple when it's like close to all-time high, and then they're trying to teach people how to sell it when it's when it's down 50%.
They are so good. They meme themselves. They don't even need the internet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I try to have as much trust in journalism and in the news as possible, but I just feel like a lot of it is really fake and propaganda. But there's still some honest people out there.
I mean, I've worked as a journalist too, and I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories. I've written about that on my Twitter too. But since I entered crypto, I saw so much messed up stuff. Like, there's obviously some coordinated FUD attacks going on, at least with a few mainstream media outlets, and then it gets amplified by the major crypto news sites.
Absolutely, and I firmly believe it's it has to do with the people in power. They feel threatened by this because of they of their holdings. They're all in fiat. I mean, I personally think that fiat currency, U.S. dollar, for example, is very threatened by Bitcoin, and people that are very wealthy, that are elites in this country and around the world that have a lot of U.S. dollars. I feel like they're threatened, and they'll put out like Bill Gates coming out and saying that it's like funding terrorists. That's not true at all. Some of the stuff that they say is not true, and it's just to bring down the value, and it's FUD. It's all FUD.
I mean, terrorists never had big problems getting their money in fiat.
Yeah, no, especially U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Whenever you always hear stories about Marines going into caves or bunkers when they find terrorists, weapons, and there's millions of U.S. dollars just in the walls. So they never had an issue with that. But
yeah, absolutely.
All right, well. And quickly, we've talked about a bunch of coins, but which coin do you think has the brightest future?
The brightest future? Well, that's so hard to tell. I'd say I'm pretty bullish on one chain actually. You will like that answer.
Yes, that's actually the one that I have the coin with the brightest future. I believe is one chain as well.
It's actually pretty low at the moment. I might buy some more.
Yeah, actually, before I got on with you for the podcast, I actually bought some more.
Nice.
I actually doubled my not doubled. I bought about 50% more.
Yeah.
So my position grew
But,
by 50%.
like I said when we started out, I like to cover a few important sectors of the market with the investments. Like VeChain is the coin I'm betting in the supply chain sector. I'm betting on. Then Track is the most speculative play, and then I got one and ICX for the interoperability, and ICX just because it's awesome. I mean the project when they get this thing to work, it will be massive. And then I got stuff like Cash. I mean, we've been talking about that in the dojo for a long time now, and it has become an anchor, like the guys in the dojo like to call it. But still, to me, Cash, I'm just sitting on this position, and to me, this is like my hedge for a consolidated market. When the time in 1 or 2 years when we won't see these huge altcoin pumps anymore, and there's a lot of institutional money floating around, then I want to have a stake in one of the exchanges that this institutional money will run on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like something I'm pretty bullish on too. Although it didn't really move now, it pretty much retraced to almost where I made my first buy-in.
Yeah, I definitely it's about at the same level, a little bit more than my second buy-in, but it's slightly below my first. So I'm about even on it. A little maybe I'm down in dollar value because when I bought it, it was around Bitcoin's all-time high. It was is over 10,000. So
yeah,
the dollar value I'm definitely down on, but Satoshi value it's not too bad.
But a lot of these tokens don't make sense. Like they won't be around. But this is one of the tokens where I believe that it has a very, very good use case. Like the whole liquid exchange is solving a problem that this market is suffering from at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the token has a proper use case on that exchange. That will be the second part of the equation. And so, yeah, I'm still bullish on Cash, and I think it will make a lot of money going forward. Maybe not, this week, next week, but when we look at this in 2019, we will laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we'll all be laughing to the bank, right to the bank.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, listen, thank you for coming on. It's been great. I think
Thank you for having me here.
You're very knowledgeable. I've learned a lot from you. I'm going to continue learning from you and from everybody else in the dojo. I really appreciate you coming on. I feel like this is going to become a new trend. I'm going to try to get more dojo guys on here because you guys are all a wealth of knowledge, especially the analysts and contributors. You guys are, extremely vital to that group, and you're also extremely vital to the space because of the information that you put out there. So
thanks, man. Means a lot.
Absolutely, man. It's all honesty and the truth here. So thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I'll be talking to you some more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so thanks again for listening, everybody. This is El Crypto Cubano and Shillman. Really appreciate you guys listening. We'll be on again next week with another guest. I won't say until I put the episode out there. But I hope you enjoyed this one. And this is El Crypto Cubano signing out. Let's look forward to some green days. Have a good one.